Alright, so let's talk about the Canon EOS R5 because I used it now for around 1 year, and that's why I thought let's talk about am I still happy with the Canon EOS R5. So let's get started. Okay, so if you have watched my Canon EOS R5 photo and video reviews, you probably know most of the things about this camera. But I will link these videos down in the description, so if you're interested in that, definitely check them out. But yeah, after around 1 year of using the Canon EOS R5, I definitely need to say that this camera offers anything and everything that I need to get my work done. And in this video we will talk about 3 major topics that I care most about, and first we will talk about video, next photo, and last but not least lenses and accessories. So let's get started with the video features. So yeah, basically the Canon EOS R5 offers all kind of video recording modes that you need to record some high quality footage, and mostly I use the 4K option and the C-Log recording mode. But just to mention something here really quickly, I don't really like the standard C-Log settings, so if you use C-Log to record your videos, I highly recommend to go into the settings and adjust them a little bit, because in my opinion in the standard C-Log settings the sharpness is completely missing. So yeah, what I did was to open up the settings and I gave the sharpness a +3, and that gave me a way better image. But yeah, of course in the end it totally depends on your own style and what you prefer, so definitely check out all kind of adjustments and play around with the settings until you find the settings that you like the most. But yeah, in my opinion all these video features that the R5 offers are awesome, and I don't miss any options when I'm out there to record a video. In my Canon EOS R5 video review I also mentioned that I don't really know why the 120 FPS at 1080p option is missing, but Canon actually put that into this camera with an update, so this camera got even better now. And of course we need to talk about overheating. And since I mostly use the 4K options to record my videos, I never had any overheating problems. I had multiple long-term sessions without any issues, and especially if you shoot 4K at 120 FPS, you won't use it for multiple hours. In most cases you just record a couple of 10 to 20 second clips and that's it. Otherwise you can even use the 120 FPS at 1080p option if you need some long-term footage. But of course if you need to use these 4K HQ or 8K options, you will run into problems. But I definitely need to mention that most of the people don't really need these features at all, and that's why I highly recommend, if you need to use these features, buy a cinema camera like a Red for example. But what's about the editing workflow with the Canon EOS R5 footage? Well, the 4K and 8K files of the R5 are big, and if you don't have a computer that can't handle these codecs, you will have a lot of problems in the editing process. Currently the new Mac M1 chips can handle these files, but my 2014 iMac has a hard time here. I mean, it is possible to do it because I use these files every single day, but I will upgrade to the new M chips from Apple as soon as they release the computer that I'm waiting for. So definitely keep that in your mind before you buy this camera, because you need a good computer to handle these codecs. So the question is, should you buy the Canon EOS R5 for video? And in my opinion the Canon EOS R5 offers everything that you need to record some good footage. And yet it makes it possible to do everything that I like to do. So for example I like to do both video and photo. And I simply don't want to carry 2 cameras all the time, just in case if I want to record a video for example, or just to take a couple of photos. So yeah, in the end this high-end package makes it way easier for me to get my work done, including some high-end specs in such a small camera body. So if you're looking for such a camera, the Canon EOS R5 is a great choice, because it actually makes it possible to do everything that you like to do all the time. And as I already mentioned photography, let's talk about that next. So yeah, of course the Canon EOS R5 image quality is just fantastic, and I really like to use this camera for photography. At first I actually thought that the R5 won't be a big upgrade next to the EOS R, but I was actually really wrong. The R5 is a huge step forward, and especially the new 45 megapixel sensor in combination with IBIS is just awesome. On top Canon improved the autofocus, so I don't have to care about that a lot, which is great, and new features like the Animal AF are just fantastic too, so if you need a good AF, here it is. Another aspect we need to talk about speed, and especially the continuous shooting mode of the Canon EOS R5. Because a lot of people complain that the EOS R wasn't fast enough, but now the R5 can take pictures with up to 20 frames per second, and that is fantastic. The continuous shooting mode is insane, and another reason why I really like this camera. And if we now take a look at the Canon EOS R5 body, we can see that it's actually not too big and not too small. I can handle the camera while taking photos without having any major problems, and the overall button layout is just on point. So in the end, Canon actually improved everything that I don't like while using the Canon EOS R, and the overall handling of the R5 is super simple, especially if you used the EOS R before. I actually didn't have to learn a lot to get started, I just switched on the camera and yeah, that's it. Of course you can find everything that you need in the menu really fast, so it's an easy to use system, and on top if you need to be quiet while taking photos, I can tell you that the camera won't make a lot of noise. So yeah, especially wedding or event photographers can benefit from that as well. But now let's move on to the third topic, and here we need to talk about lenses and accessories. So the first aspect we need to talk about is EF and RF lenses. And yeah, I already have a couple of EF and RF lenses and I can still use them all, even with the new mount of the R5. And the reason is this little adapter here that makes it possible to use older EF glass with the RF system without having any major downsides. So yeah, especially if you've already a couple of Canon EF lenses, this is a perfect opportunity to make the jump to the RF mount. Because you don't have to buy all kind of new lenses if you already use Canon glass. So in the end your overall gear is ready to use and you don't have to care about buying new stuff just because of the new mount. And yeah, just to mention that here really quickly, in the end I really like to use my EF glass in combination with the R5. The only big downside is that I have to use this little adapter here, but that's something that isn't a huge problem. But of course the new RF lenses are just awesome, and currently I use the RF35mm to record this video. I use especially the RF35mm 1.8 macro for a variety of things, including video recording, and I need to say that I highly recommend this lens if you want to buy your first cheap RF lens. Another really important aspect we need to talk about is that Canon decided to use the same battery size for the new Canon R5. So yeah, in the end the new battery is just a little bit better, but you can still use all kind of older batteries from the ATD or EOS R for example, and that is great. Because you don't have to spend a lot of money on new batteries just because you bought a new camera. But now let's talk about one of the most important accessories, and here we need to talk about memory cards. In the first couple of weeks I just used the camera with an SD card, and yes, you can do that, especially if you just want to take photos and record a couple of clips. But if you want to have full access to all these features, you need to buy a CF Express card. And I highly recommend to buy one from day one, because otherwise it is possible that you will run into problems like slow writing speeds. And especially if you want to record videos, I highly recommend to buy a 512GB card, because yeah, you need that. So definitely keep that in your mind before buying the Canon EOS R5, because these CF Express cards are really expensive. So yeah, to wrap up this video, I definitely need to say that I'm really happy that I bought the Canon EOS R5. It's a perfect hybrid camera that you can use to record some incredible footage and to take some high quality photos. This hybrid package makes it way easier for me to get my work done, including some high-end specs in such a small camera body. So yeah, if you're looking especially for a hybrid camera, the Canon EOS R5 is a great choice. Okay, so yeah, these are my thoughts about the Canon EOS R5 1 year later. What do you think about the Canon EOS R5? Write it down in the comments. So, thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you're new here, don't forget to smash that subscribe button to stay updated for upcoming videos, and I'll see you in the next video.